na the name can say obefre soft asofo wo krum ho no afre nkremofo wasan afre zongo chiefs wafre ahemfo beauticians, hairdressers, tailors, fitafo nsano adwumafo. He puts them together in stakeholder consultations around the country. Since our independence, woman fee and penny for be no moon ni say ancremophone asofo bitima Canada akumukra a meeting. But because YSID is brought some brotherly feeling to the extent that tama omugwechi we no kra baby o hwane no mkugwechi we ubons asofo ons no invite him ni nyina we come and break bread and break the fast together. And assemble kwa ya o come kai say meneno call room or pay courtesy call on Pope Francis. Pope asemo kan say adia ni so e Ghana no hu bi babia the religious tolerance Ghana ne your maya yesrain the peace in this country in ni hokwa religious tolerance no account for a lot of it. So because we don't see ourselves as enemies. Enti o shene den se okwa onto aso a ono as a Muslim no aba the head of the Catholic Church nin bedin komo din inshira mano bompaye mano because Ghana is the only place that owns a chief imam 100 years utimi ko Catholic Church e bompaye mano baby I can talk abisi until we have a beautiful country. So intimate the enemy be a nipe be ye just because of political expediency. Say politics in tea or minor and shit and say it been mustati and they want the Kenyan example or her and Tokwensi Nigeria protests near the na Ghanaians are not angry enough. Metisa kasana na a dream back to where we came from as a country because Kwame am say nipe pi refi ushe statistics of this country, the demographics, until they have not experienced the difficulties. Ghana ye firm the journey that Ghana traveled and san ebedru baby edri. Na yemu bia ne yem rantia. In 1979, yehu the coup. 1981 coup. 1982 enye course wo Ghana ha. Over 500 people died and are still unaccounted for. So Murefia, Ghana Black Stars, new coach be. Your friend BB Bismarck. Or some be a brew here and I said, yeah, oh. One who say ye chino, it couldn't up to now ye body down.
Yeah, money body.
I'm telling you, there were many. It's just a matter of a beer. Me papa in the 3 High Court judges. There's a few lawyers who had the courage at that time. Peter Lajete, Samukujeto, BJ Daruchanum. Those days, almost say, almost be celebrity anniversary kekekra. It mean mobilizing cadres. Eko buon Reverend Santenchu.
Yeah, Reverend Santenchu. Of the Methodist Church.
Omutigu. Enti we have to know say yes okoto we on one. And we should recognize the history of this country. Inti one way no musi a kind say one more background and he no more free. What has been their mentality? So one more impose curfew on this country, killed the night economy in this country, including the entertainment industry. Unum say Ghana yeda curfew for about 6 years. So would there be an ousa?
Aye,
bands.
And baby or cranwa 5 o'clock. Next will be a dough.
Eda. Into net almost any as one person running economy around the clock. I'm saying, if we are sending homes, a refia day. One more a big goo the night economy and homo they are talking about. Okay, see a refia. I see you don't get here. He was a deputy minister of agriculture under that administration. So, over 350 enterprises, state enterprises. Because me bodia, me say state hotels, say Black Star Line, say a friend, baby, catering rest houses, nina. Omu guni nina ton my
Yeah.
So when these people are now talking about say the Ejuma Beba jobs, Ghanaian jobs were collapsed under their watch. Nti media nkolana ne omutimi kasa te say MPP ni NDC adekro, MPP ni NDC enya adekro at all. Their history started from the coup of 1981 when a democratically elected president, Liman, Tunuguye.
Yes, sorry, I'm not Parison was say this is not a coup, it's a house cleaning exercise.
You know, as I'm crying, but important say as Ghanaians, especially we always have to go back and look at our history. Because the one should be a free bar, one here, if you don't look at your history, and the history, you should learn lessons. To guide your steps going forward. Who can be a binomoka? Say Ghana no ye betuaba all of a sudden. Ye create impressions ye betuaba wo BBC. Debbie, we've had peaceful elections for over 30 years. 1992 krani achichiri ensa eguyechi. Register kra musimu mie. Register issue 1988 to say any year 92 elections. Musimu mie. And then me share the omo kan about registers near there. And I just say massacre afim. Do these people mean well? And I say no, they just want to ride on.
Oh, but the register no almost say illegally you transfer bimudi ko binim 50,000 woman
and say omo meeting or electoral commission IPAC omo timi provide this evidence. It may be say a few mistakes have been made, which is
sure,
and they're human and so omo timi high ni eka asem na obia sorry a ye nuan masofu ni bi kra na na to the bia. I think say there's fear mongering going on in this country. Only a passenger, any a passenger. Why nem passenger? Why nem passenger? Those who want to disturb the peace in the country by creating chaos. So omo GDS say, abaye betu ombe wenya. Say you need to protect the sanity of the environment. Say when ya oman bi a oba betraso. Then so they took it for granted, say, because of the economic hardships, difficulties, abentino, Oma winnie, cabinet positions, I cry, say, I reshuffles, baby, you know.
Only I can say, can say, Omo, ya signing yai.
So, Baumia to see for more who say, yes, this is a new candidate. The Baumia is going to lead a new chapter in Ghanaian politics. That is what he's promising the Ghanaian people. Na mijidi se dodo no aso aginadi se oyobia wo hwe ne life obi ofri wale wo no tamale o call primary school saka primary onimo
tamale
saka wan ko mo dadama school si bi o call saka primary.
Okay.
Enti onimfom wo ye breakfast so ne papa wo nipa 19 se 17 na tiase. Now, the kind of religious harmony a woni monum MC free in collaborate because ne mame no ye Methodist or one of his informer na me educated don ba Wesley girls. Na obe ware ne papa and na otene
anti na mame na nkasa nye
yes
Muslim
or ware na otene into Muslim to ko mu fia nipa 17 na aka no 9 Christians and na 8 Muslims.
Okay.
Inti Quran and the Bible de idea na wo mu fie. Inti nyese bia tumia or peno. Inti na ne one ya Christopher shia na sese. Ono amu wo sha no the same. Nyina ne o ye brigaders, boys Methodist boys brigade. Me from Methodist na was road. Me na nam boba na edition esi manim se.
Ayi, wo ba down where? Me down where ni. Wow.
So na nam papati. Go from pa.
Oh, okay.
Baby on the Baptist church bio.
Baptist church. Mr. Yeboah ho.
So those days na be a community house. Eja yen kwa na akoye say dada makakra.
Say what there dada mafo.
Because of me na me pe a form nanti entido. Me now for Kwabena Agyapong no Kwasi Agyapong no ne ade anopa ne abefa na wate asiso ame na wonam ha fitem ne ade nyina ye hunu and you have a candidate who has lived like an ordinary Ghanaian. Otimi koye ba day time omunya holidays. So while ye adwuma wa fum da, he knows how it is to go through difficulties. Onya pini ko abuchiri oka taxi to support his education. Okodru Canada, no adwuma warehouse. Oswane mane ade nyina. Ne Nyankopon edina fofie kakra odi be Central Bank. Ye adwuma rises to the point of deputy governor. In a 24-hour, President Akufo-Addo, then candidate Akufo-Addo, Ebefano, so Omeye running mate. For 16 years now, the life has changed. So, enti Ushene life so nobody up to now. He's got very strong personal integrity. Obiye ni ho ne ba umia assign. Aka ne ho asembonida. Na adwumam bank de senka ho na sika wo. Oye vice president or call Zimbabwe, other international jobs or call Oxford. Nina be didn't want dance, papa. But
the end is for the bonus to say. President Akufo-Addo ekofana ban was say one economist. Inti se subobia bana ho kire aba economy no anko yi a yemfa so bo no mo.
Na se on ka se me yemfa so bo no mo no. And as February 7 mutie na se mo kan.
Yeah.
He has never run away from the fact that we are going through economic difficulties. Obi ankasa. Nanso so ye pu bi otiase obetima take years out of it and point a way forward. Mijidi say between the top candidates in there, Obi and Mseba will do a much better job. Look, nipa ani so adu hino. Enema pia okan no. Ohwe ni book or 2010. A lot of the things that he mentioned, just say he looked in fancy film school. I'm quite your motto. I say dream shekan. He had the vision for the future. So he talked about a digital economy, and then all over the world, the way the digital economy is really driving economies around the world. Enti o place emphasis on that, and no say Jane a free economy. No. We all know, say, before COVID struck, 2022, the economy spiraled out of control. Media mechanical, many places, and I still stand by it. So I think the president should have intervened much quicker in those days and taken some action on those who were managing the economy at the time. You see, it's important that we recognize that as a country, we need to build a new phase of politics of propriety and nokreka and in dear ni siku fancy no enfrim yodium no and no na eha omai because ade bi koso kra na nya obeka se omi party ni nti no ontimi nka you cannot need diem it should be allowed. That's how we build a country. We have a country to build. So in tina politics a friend aman yosem ye oman no ye ti hia wo mo onim de e wotima e wodo tina de bia. I always hash on the 3 S's na meka triple S: service, sacrifice, selflessness. And uhwe papa ni subanya e wo enti media migidi se emre na so uhwe nsem a wo ka the clarity of his thought, the direction he wants to take the country. Me feel say he's well armed with the skills to lead this country into a new era, new ideas, new dimension. That is very important as a country because a kwanya ya fire who say ene nipa no dodo no fancy politics no de aye dabre aduani bi ne ye bididi ne ache. That is not sustainable. And say yeah politics na nim no yeah make sure say sasu ban no enfriwa enye ye. And that's why I'm happy say he's going to set the right example or say he's going to cut down government, which is very important. Significant because it sends a strong moral message. Ma obi ehunu say neni abre is not job for the boss.
Mahama so class one so beti so.
Well, he came out first and said he would have 50 ministers. He's reconfigured his ministries and he's prepared to run. Although I felt a 54 would have been a good figure. Mahama is talking about 60. Fine, I'm happy. So he's saying that. But he has had the opportunity to be president. Yeah, Musane say, one of the already president. In fact, he completed the term of Professor Mills. And son only full 4 years. Now those 4 years, ideas now all kind of not anyone now. And now better if you 8 years now when you fresh ideas now. That's the question. He was given his opportunity. Or not yet, he was president. The buck stopped at his desk. Bawumia has not been president. Only a president da. Obebwa na nado danko ekufado. When ejuma oyim. But of course, it makes good politics for them to heap everything on Bawumia's head. But Ghana for sebi omu nimde. Until they can tell the difference with those who are doing mere politics. And they said the Galamsey and Semia all of a sudden because the Galamsey in Ra and they started with Ghana. Me running my campaign in 2022. I made a lot of noise about Galamsey. I didn't hear anything from any religious leader, not from the UTAG, not from anybody. They were not interested. I even called for a moratorium on surface mining. Okay. So, yeah. So, in those days, because I looked at the destruction of the environment, and I said it's not only about government and politicizing it, but your regulatory framework, Minerals Commission, your Forestry Commission, one of the essence releases.
Said we can mine in the forests.
How?
There is an ally.
See who promoted that ally. And I even expressed my displeasure. I said, President should take firmer action on that. Because you can say a secure baby as forestry near there, and I say a forester is part of the ecosystem to protect the environment and protect our people. So, yes, na abechichire in Ghana ha, so binya penindia, then nipa kutukutu no form. Ntimi nkanya nsasem nkyere no ntimi ntunifu fupa na chese de bia no ade a emwa oman no ene ye last week ya na call Western region the three are Memphis and Dunkwao. The situation is serious, and never be the impression being created by NDC need some civil society actors as if say MPP for na it is not true. It is wrong to say that yes. The eventual responsibility lies at the desk of the president as the leader of the country to take firm action. And I think on that score, I agree. He should have taken firmer action and punished a few people to send a strong signal. No, a chroma for to kwayako, Obia Kujina Kona baby, unim se gold wo ho se no answer what is a area. Gold no mutu to form. So they devastating the greenery. Mr. Demi environmentalist. Intimi who see a budua na me yemashime. A budua bia na me yemashime. So, and these are the things that we want to see. None of these people spoke about this matter. In fact, in the 2020 elections, John Mahama himself was there saying publicly, the videos are available. One more machichi mwatumuno, yeba ebeyimu, mawabeye. Based
on the premise set, was it the King Kong from the Kingpins, no?
Where that campaigns know you cannot talk like that as a political leader, because when you encourage wrongdoing, you are encouraging wrongdoing. At least the president tried using Galam stopping whatever it is. It didn't work, and I came out openly and said that the fight against Galamsey seems to have failed because me engineer. All I need are results. If I go and take a sample from the river, and this is what he's saying, I don't care whatever you've done before. Result need hear me. That's how we train as engineers. And if the results show, say, the measures, then we have to call that into action. So, but nobody showed interest in it. And all the things that we have barely 60 60 days to elections. My campaign is going nowhere. They are being lazy about it. Whilst, look,
submarine.
Oh, dear submarine. Campaigns here in a submarine. Dear submarine. Submarine is almost namase disika microphone so demonstration creating chaos in our country and make the country ungovernable. And these are statements that have come from senior leaders, which I found surprising. So, what confidence over when you want the country to run, but having gone around, say no more feel say. I mean, there were some of them who were calling and say, "Oh, mun prepare more notes now, mun free aben money ade." They had taken it for granted that they had won the election. Yes, because Ghanaians were going through difficult economic times. I know the age in me top petrol ni bi, me top electricity ni bi. Me nka aban ho. I'm an ordinary, normal Ghanaian, so I feel the pain of every Ghanaian. The Ghanaian come be a me famu bi. Until when we speak with authorities and no, this cannot be right for the country. You cannot say. You expect some nipa ba before also na you fight so that we can have some change in direction either from government policy and I say I made 3 statements. It got to a point where I said, look, media have never been a friend of mining, even mainstream mining, because obuasi no mni ade betra ho long road no mni abrofu ya tete London, Johannesburg, Australia. Mining is a cartel. Canada, UK, Australia, South Africa. Ukohwe omufie to gold no man mine 3%, 4%. And MC can come. And I said it. So if we cannot exploit our resources to the benefit of we the Ghanaians, yenyai. So I've never been a friend of mine. And who womunya more 4-5 fold. Apart from that, even in Ghana right now, there's something serious that has been happening. Unum say gold exports, no, mineral exports, no economy. Who calculated the official declarations and they to the main destinations of say India and Dubai and Omnia there 4 times difference. So
India.
Yeah.
You call you sika export to the alcohol. Buy a cratem or high. And
then I make a so there's a lot going on now. As genuine patriotic Ghanaians, we should be worried about. Now, precious minerals for those, the customs officers, and all the systems that we have to put in place to make sure, say, one, adina production no mutun. How do we know? Nancy a call campaign or north. That means say upper east over 6 Chinese mines were Chinese mining companies. Minam catcher. One walls about 10 meters high. Inside. And Nancy Kramit is almost on Bezombi Airport. Bogatanga. Emma MC Minister no be Air Force. Hey, I did almost 2 years. No, the airport beside they said almost 2 years.
2 years.
Nipa catch there. As he teen a trasa. We've got to investigate properly and have a handle of the whole architecture surrounding mining in this country. Anti-mining in Africa, sure, they come and just pilfer our natural resources. And those are the things we as Ghanaians and patriots should be worried about. Intermediate mining in itself, I think, has brought any advantage to Africa and Ghana in particular. Now, surface mining quite a west because to try and take out the vegetation, I don't believe in that at all. So, and it has to be managed properly. Say one more chef forestry commission, one more chef minerals commission, one more a chef ministry should make sure that all these things, environment has to be balanced. Ecosystem, environmental engineering, it has to be balanced because the greenery is a carbon sink. So it's all part of life. It gives life. And to want to mean say, oh, yes, can to trees now provide oxygen. So all these things are problems that we're facing. The way we've planned our urban areas, very poor. So say in Accra, if you take a picture of Accra, a plan of Accra from 1900, we have followed it out through now. Okay. About 65% of our green cover has been taken out. Oh yes. Until and then so to a and did 2 hours granted drew or door. Because all the spongy surface in engineering, we call it spongy surfaces. And okay, as you to it percolation, it me conform no. Because you are tiling ho, you do roofs, I can 100% run off. Baby,
crana, yes, swampy areas, and one more failing.
And no crowd west crime in Tiasia. These are areas that should be off limits. And we have put in our manifesto. I chaired the infrastructure committee of the manifesto. The assemblies and how they manage the environment, loose powders, the planning, town and country planning, and how permits are given. Missing me call Takra din and saying, Udum se Takra de hili kakra. Udum se ye jabum, ye jab the side of the hill. Na I expose. At said the uko wager. One wager they were high. I wager. Ufri. Ye swan ye school of fans. Who be a green hill nisio. Fe. How is it that district assemblies or DCs are issuing permits for people to destroy that? This area should be off limits. Oh, we should protect the society, protect the environment. There should be the common good. And because of politics, who say I got 2 months to election. One campaign to show menko until they don't have a solid message, they are not saying anything. Bahumia has a very convincing message, talking to the Ghanaian people, they are listening to him. Until let's latch on to something that has become a hot potato. And all of a sudden, somehow, they've been able to get into the clergy, the unions, and everybody is talking about Galamsey at the same time. Galamsey and Nenebe. We all saw the distraction even during Professor Mills' era. That is when we saw the...
now, where would you say you're politically motivated?
Oh, it's quite clear. I mean, and they say you don't have to be a scientist to see that. It's quite clear. Why? We have 2 months to elections.
Sure.
Why don't you prepare a program? Even if your friend is saying unions near there, if you think you want to make a contribution, you are better off dealing with the new government.
Why must I young stop a cry?
Now, time who says yes, stop it. I'm saying when I spoke about that in 2022, where were they? It was probably 3 times I said that. 3 times. It was covered widely. I didn't hear any word of support from the clergy, from the Christian council, from the Catholic bishops. Nobody. As if so be anti. And it was repetitive. I was going around the radio station and I was saying it. It was published. Obianti. What has changed? All of a sudden, immediate action has to be taken in the heat of a campaign, because you think that by doing so, you cause disaffection for the government in power, and then you can ride on that and cheaply get into office. They are not going to win this election. Bawumia is going to defeat John Mahama handsomely. So I've been around politics a long time. I've seen the eyes of Ghanaians and the affection that they have for Mahmoud Bawumia. Obebitino. First round.
Na enkom shabo.
I don't even mean person me cancer answer no cry. Eno de me enra me say who of pedi back. So ti onu so kai.
What is say?
Utable. I say God is not in the business of politics. And I want it.
Debbie.
Hey, coffee tape no.
Okay.
No, if God is in the business of electing presidents, God, I made mistakes, so Africa have a baby. But anyway, I think, look, me, I have my personal views on this matter. I'm a very spiritual person. But I've been in politics and I know what happens around these things. And yes, we're quite sorry because there's a congregation there. We all have to respect our people. And you go and worship with them, whether it's in a mosque or it's in a church, or when you go to, just even look at what happened. A friend is saying the NDC were criticizing Bawumia. Say I saw for the Ensatu so. John Mahama even went worse, called them hypocrites and all that. Say I don't know woman good words, and so the next day no Obun Kutoje and Ensatu so. I mean, if this is not...
it's based on Abanfunwi. So on your media Abanti.
Omede.
Or second time.
No, they make kind of say you should have values and principles.
Okay.
So, I will say, more opinion. You don't go and do the same thing. And then people are making mockery of him on the social media with all the videos of what he did. Nansen me di President Kufuor me di Edu Wahiachi ukọ baby and cranfo wa omo dual system ukọ omo ahemfo manche na wasan akọ wulomo Uyo momo ewura bi om du gu kom ya. Edi bi gu Kufuor kom, edi bi gu Nanado kom. Edi bi gu ayi kom wo ayi friend say emse lejo kuku ne ekoy. Labadi ho la de kotopon. Na omo de ayi video as you say oh he's dabbling in ayi abosomsom. No, that is the culture of the Ghana people. We are very just omo fe buo aman kan for kra. Nipa no di buo aman kan for say mo yen kan for mo culture ni.
Ba omo say as a Muslim no need so opening. Ko omo di gu no come no wa eat.
There be enya ne sa. They do good kuma. You are respecting the traditions of your people.
Sure.
O mine obeso obedisono. It includes Muslims, Gans, Ewes, Ashantis. In fact, Obi Crack I say, they may come here. I say, oh mine a better. I'm always room. I shall for whom, Obi at home. You'll be president for everybody. It won't mean cause rightful people. So on them show. So you have to be a president. We name for. And that's where I think Bawumia scores more. So, look, he's shown that he's ready for the work, the hard work. Last week we went on a 17-day tour without break. Baby, me feel it from the voice.
Wow.
Without break. Wait to see how 2 days no journey or press conferences. Have you seen any sustained campaign from the major candidates?
I know not because of Achim North. Now they were not visibly seen.
Oh no! I seen those that they were visible. The strategy was simple, which is what they've been trying to do. Nancy Bawumia has nipped it in the bud. Omko catch us not for say, sa LGBT sensem no yen yepe. Na yen pe say mema worry mema ma worry ma. You know that kind of dirty campaign. Now NDC there, say o majuma no. Every 1992. Omo tisi krom ha e ka say Kozongo bia one Asante for party omumumu say omo kan gu yeso sa and it really went down in the Zongos match say omo anto aba man kra omo ka say eba power ye the aliens compliance order what did you need that aliens compliance Dr. Buzia time enti nipa ni pi ana se bi on free Nigeria be settle ha na ade na omo nananom ha no. They remember the pain of the aliens.
There's a friend Apollo something.
Apollo 69.
Apollo 69.
Yeah. And no the year campaigns. So until omo there, now 2008, oman kofa a list of ministers, including my name. Me na nam da number 3. Yeah, you was ka Prudential Bank. Who can say scan in Aboma? Bank of Ghana credit says scan.
Na namu.
Debbie, because that time near account of Prudential. I feel na my be account of.
Okay.
At the material time they brought that list out. Omo timi call Infantine Krasi. No omo the Jubilee House. And na mun Krasi say omo kofo. We scanner or they asida or they be man when you know, so they have been masters of communist inferior tactics, masters of propaganda. And Toronto there, Ghana for should be very wide awake. Because they speak a lot of vile propaganda and lies about people. That's what they do. They are masters of it. Until you be drew abattoir. Instead some campaign, campaign at all. And they want to make the country ungovernable. And now all the discussion is about Galamsey. And I find that very strange. So because
organized labor
and not quite who says fetish priest. I mean, all sorts of things are being said. It's quite clearly it's been orchestrated. Then also, medium GD a Juma, Dr. Bawumia Sinenisuwa, oh yeah, he's working hard. He's going to every community or Kobebia or engage or call the Nidi, a man penny for Krum or Shia him for Fuansa, Shia Sofo, Kremufo, Saichi Zungu, Omo Yensa no Juma. Edi na sem to mani mo wi ansa na koshia party for rally no call the next. That's sometimes 4 constituencies in one day. Sometimes
it takes strength
into the vitality that it has. Nyankopon is sitting yanko do we na misro se beyond or go break it down. So but we are very determined. Otisi from no nama we are only utai exercise ultimately.
Now between a Momo campaign message and this campaign message on free SHS no utie Mampendada Mahama oba be pagya no not even one really private schools no aka ho na fe first year bia no obema loan students loan trust na wo de atua yef and the wo tertiary
Kwame yes say kwase obema
ntoma
tie ni din yes sir nipa no be president da nti he's had the opportunity omutimi a friend is saying campaign adverts several condemning the thing. In fact, he said it was a whimsical policy. Those were his words. 419 whimsical policy. Sir, free SHS no ska on fine yes man. And so over the last 7 to 8 years, 5.7 million Ghanaian children are benefiting from the system. And then you call baby him for ne and my woman omni dear dance yes first no more toy and tuma. Ebinu also ankola abin na buha eso tenefi because unibi. Many people who would not have had the opportunity. And this is a policy the bar affecting every household. Where any policy affecting a section of the population. Ghana Nibia. All the regions everywhere. Intisa policy far-reaching policy and another danko kufodo the buy about me atane chi omotimia achieve no there. Me jidi say the papa. Na omo mistake omaye by fighting it into eneno ya no mpese they want to come back and create the impression say first cry some na the buy. Inti sa kasa no say Ghana for nyenkola. Omani bi omo su tie. They know what is the truth and what is propaganda. Inti obi anim say Ghana over the last 30 or so years after this Fourth Republic, all the far-reaching policies are a boa a here for a MPP na de buy one way ni be ye cry a see a center right conservative almost one social democrats for one intervention my
one intervention be anywhere a rich hospital see a be upgrading no na nipa betimi akọ. One intervention be anywhere a chair a circle Dubai a year why ya car no.
I don't even remember me call there. That interchange, you share the cost of it. Circle there.
Aye.
It's more than about 5 interchanges. Yeah. Oh, Ghana has it.
Hey.
I'm telling you. Well, I don't even want to go there.
Okay.
Because me kai say Kumasi Airport. Omu overlay keke. Any lights. Ka say 29 million. I was general secretary. I had cause to write to them said that cannot be possible. I worked as a young engineer on that runway. I know the length of that runway in 1991 as a resident engineer, Ghana Highway Authority. Lemex Bow, you know, yes, sir.
Welcome for no.
Aye. I was the resident engineer there for a couple of months.
Okay.
Oh, you know, I don't want to waste too much time on some of these things because to be, I mean, feel say, yeah, we're at fault. Say you buy it. Dubious projects like Saglemi. We didn't do anything about it. Dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. Till say okay, you be because be a politics now. Me said that say attempts over 200 million. Near their comma foreign contractor. O could see dance one could see the room baby connected to nowhere. With no transit arrangements for transport and nkrofo ekotran ho no 5,000 units na say umusi ewi ase omutimi si less than 1,200
wo mu see na ko wo mu see a the end is a revolving fund bi you see na yaton na sign
no the government no the NDC government koji bosia ye tua say o so say agye sa bosia koji en edima contractor.
Wow.
That should cover. We have simple mathematics. Just say that should have been $40,000 per unit. They ended up from what they have been. They are telling us that every unit cost them $127,000. How?
Wow.
Apartments. And those are some of the things. I think as a government, you take a look at a few major issues and deal with it. The issue of people collecting double salaries, which is the worst form of corruption. So ministers and parliamentarians say, double for some strange region. You aren't taking any action. enye me wan say na omanya ano a omudi ano abesi eso. So those are some of the shortcomings as a government that we have to be honest to admit to, and then move on. Let the Ghanaian people know, say, this is the beginning of a new chapter. Bawumia is going to lead the country on a certain trajectory. We need, we have to cut our coat according to our size. It's gotten to a point, as if Ghana for him, we share a road network. We have one of the most extensive road networks in Africa. If you per capita, our population and the land size, the road network that we have in this country, over 100,000 kilometers, is one of the most densely connected road networks in Africa. In Tibia, it's time for us to put a block on new roads and maintain what we have, because we don't have a maintenance culture. Yeah, near discuss koshadim near Jan instead of intervening, intervening. Now, I feel I say we are near say in some new contract near some rare word bill. Those are the things that I do believe conversations I mean Dr. Bawumia having these the waste in the system. Ghana co-ministries sika almost spending on workshops, seminars. There be a who faso be a me who san faso. Of course, it has to. Now, the amount of reports that are on the shelves that have not been implemented, we have to move into an implementation mode. The Bia near Koda Hotel, near the Nipa Kogu hotels, is a waste of everybody's time. The country has to be serious, and I believe Dr. Bawumia is a very serious-minded person. That is why I'm attracted to him, because I see my values and my views and principles very aligned to what he is espousing. The onujidie no eno na mejidie. Small government, efficient, effective government, and having a drastic penalty regime. Say you have the political will to punish people for wrongdoing. That has to happen in this country. On my team, the Public Accounts Committee about about be 2 years late, to start with. Nobody gets punished for the delay. 2, now Sika, I am misappropriated various amounts of money. Misappropriated. And so be muda. And politicians, we are the easy a day about beating me trying. A lot of it is down to our technocrats and the civil servants. You understand? Yes, we have to lead by example and also manage the ministries and the government. But we are a manager of a ministry. You are not a technical brain. Until one advise to the minister to sign a lease into a forest body. Those questions should be asked.
So, you almost a ban. Intino, woman say, also me a chief director, me a CEO, maybe I'm a PMC, me wa Minerals Commission, me wa me sign, me nyam from so.
Mrano enye unum se mrano emwa na enye is against environmental principles, especially you will be or EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. You are there paid to safeguard the environment for this country. And there was a reason why it is a forest reserve. So, and if eventually we've seen some gold deposits there, it should take a stream and sun be a decision, so be a certain portion of it. You bet me into it on a certificate of emergency. So, and after that, all these mining leases, they have reclamation clauses in them. One who's will be acquired mining as I restore green renewal. I didn't.
There be a reclamation. You start the money power from okay.
And see, it has become a milking money-making machine for the system. And because Ghanaians are be materialistic, they say sika abedi enim. Yes, one ntisa kwame. Yama sika abedi enim. It is those of us who believe otherwise. As he is sorry near kasa. Even if it affects our party, our government, sometimes we have to be seen to be saying it. Okay. And I quite remember when we were campaigning, I was saying a few things about how tough the economy is, and that there's a president intervened. At the time, that dollar 1 to 7.
Yeah.
Can the NDC phone your propaganda mati adverta or 15 or 16? If I had been listened to, yeah, Kasebia me kasakeke. So on my is it leader there who here nipa umbeti masho wenim. no ma kan crutch. Look you in the eye. And there should be enough elders in this tradition. Self-made men. You don't need anything from anybody.
No.
And for the last 10 years since I had my problems, I've survived on my own. I'm not a part of the government. I don't take any perks from anybody. And to say, I mean well for the Ghanaian people. And any leader who I feel means well for the Ghanaian people, I'm going to support him. And I think that Dr. Bawumia is a very solid example of that kind of person.
Yo, and
that kind of background now. Niema wa fam niya de wa hu ni wiase. Emma wo tima. Who say ye ka say only the patron of lepers aid.
Okay.
So only the call wager leprosario. Me chese me kwa me ho pupu say eja. Ye de hu lepers say ye kio no na o yem. Udi papa echi no atam bia boy bo. Just ukure say so tem bisa. Enya dia. No, or was that man?
Yeah.
Or a patron of the street children, only also for Campbell.
Father Campbell.
Father Campbell. Oh, enti oyobia ope tembi ope so boa. Omu enibi. And I think we need a critical mass of public spirited leaders in our country. Nye omu eba se ahane ebenye sika. That mentality a cripple into the system. No. We've got to stop it in both parties, Maka. And there have been bad examples in both parties. Sebin kola enye jumada emo brani atamom edo makusi positions akese na afufu omo. So
no kura na wo kan you because obi onye adwumada.
Yeah.
Na ano so boduam kakra na memfa advert yi emfem. It's all about Dr. Bawumia. LPM a yedi aba. Na wo se Ghana for ye chiamu nyina na ye bomama ne se Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
These are things that or the enema ba are impacting positively on the lives of Ghanaians. Ama enema chase ye hauso ati. Enti very important. We share the issue of ghost names, you see. Now we share Ejumedia national ID card. Me kaise ko for the bar 2007. I still do kids here who team. Me kaise at that time me kaise look. Sadi were very good. And to see it me designing the year. A bedroom baby no and here say electoral commission for ebeye omwa register near sans resti sika. Because if we are able to get everybody on the database of national identity, ye who one amount card. Your mouth card that is abruched national insurance number and now say US security number, social security number. And no one now the 18 almost almost send a message say your name has been migrated onto the electoral register.
Ayi me wo me bano ewo California. One kwa de uni wi a wo sama a booklet bi to register kwala ne say we Republican and now we Democrat. Booklet kasi o.
So enti sa niema nyina because those days those days are Firestorm open na omoesa we want to interfere with registration. I'm saying yes will be person open so
also only na preso pen you
me no na so do get ya no enti eno sa first attempt no was muted. By the time I need free power 2000 I registered best 700,000 people in Ghana. And this is for Betram another 8 years. 100,000 crown count. By United was still under 1 million. Within a matter of 8 years, we've registered in excess of 18 million people. And then Obia phone number connected to national ID, bank account, BI connected to it. So we are building an infrastructure, or I would say an architecture for it. A be help in all facets of our life. And nyame adma enche bia airport kwa tu kwan na oba ukra Ghana card. Here so be through all these long queues. Uko e-gate, electronic gate na eto na a verify. Na no ano. And then those a year near nyina na so fill forms near the because of digitalization. And so beginning then for the years fell at the candidacy. But these are impact when they impact our life directly. So upeso otua nkrofo ka otifako be ye ni nyina send you be ma receipts bibia
Yeah, come on.
na then say na and when the transformation na ye kan no se mu man kwan sre Ghana for munya gidi wonimu to abama no man kwan a ode be ko bi aka ho mo ano so enti I think say the Ghanaian people
anano kra me hu ade bi minim se eno so ba ya mitria ska ko Arizona koma homeland security for and then ye na abetom so omati no mama receipt
say if
because
if the system was not interoperable until he managed to bring all the telcos, the banks on a single platform.
Okay.
So, until first now to me you scam free bank and franco can umomo account. And at first class you vote necra de telecell. Una to me and send this scam will be or MTN. And now to me send this will be or Airtel Tigo. And then it has simplified.
Obi
critical crowd nipa refi. And now when say cocoa board for more system and farmers no come away or mutionka. I call Momoso.
Oh, okay.
And the first no cause I call you cocoa for sika or quem no I didn't a good phone so.
And nekwaje.
A good phone to me. It has helped in very many ways. That particular policy now or the buying hospital ideas also very good. This e-pharmacy thing and also consolidation of hospital records. Because where you file like that and then you borrow ID card na na appear. So all these new methods me jidi say a lot of things will be added on. I'm more confident that Dr. Bawumia is the right person to lead Ghana, especially at this time. It's not for nothing. The experienced person to say, me I'm a boss, His Excellency President Kufuor, because this is a man of destiny. If you see, ubi oha, yani nyankopon se dinechi, nipa ntiase. So on them shown. Enti, ne option rise no. The way I demand just 24 hours to decide. I don't know because I send the books to say if it's a be an another be discuss the economy near the answer be a be no person or man about the economy. Okay, yes, we come honey and stand. 24 hours na adani. So and the way he's endeared himself to Ghanaians. Uko nkrasi nkolano Bawumia dinu de ajibebia. It's everywhere. It's on the lips of Ghanaians.
Yeah.
So,
I was a new engineer, Kwabena Agyapong, and Edin Komoy, were a senior campaign aide, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party 2024 elections. Na yenene kwetwe enkomo na enti afen wabemwa sana enkomo no tie mo text message kakra amode abama menhwe bisabi a metimi akenkan bi de amamwa na yatoa enkomo no so ose obi di ode bae was ya mumfa mudin enka ho mumfa mudin ka ho ose Bawumia all the way na enkomo yi because yenya unei ya ebenya na achede bi anamunam campaign
I know correct
baby mo manifesto no page 21 implement wide ranging tax reforms the amount for boss pa ba ko say wo kra niema wo bedu port to tax we nie asem ba ko na osa kan se wo be wave se bia obi ho kra na ye adwuma na wo be wave ni nyina start and afresh and community say
or say opese or implement a flat tax system. Flat tax no say one there's no complication because say would the first no the phone ba and next crowd the phone ba let's say back here Nokia back here iPhone unim de ubetua until you are the mercy of the customs officer. So until all these things say flat sell the phone ba ubetua 1,500 cities for bringing a phone into the country. Unim minim it's easier to comply
because the rice the corona we say rice we need the
it's too complicated. Let's simplify it, and that's what he's doing. Nti friend say broni we 40 foot say in cities. Nti yenya fixing in cities in cities. Na because every Tuesday I didn't assess because dollar assess. I mean, what kind of confusion is that?
Ebi okwa wo di sika na support no. Ewia na wa mse assess.
Just coffee be back on. So, side the other back on, you don't know where it ends up. So, I think it's important that we simplify the tax system, and that is what he's about to do. He's put a team together. That is where the details, the final details. Yes. Now say you should have a team who campaigner. You have a team that is thinking. There's a think tank thinking about the kind of quick things that you have to implement in your first 100 days of your presidency. Until you will be meticulous, or prepared, or hard worker, and his level of determination. Because what I was in China, to be an Abraham. Now the voice, Mr. Mahmoud, the voice is the echo, Kosu, you know, it will be ambassador or just or how many voice kakra. But he has such determination and singleness of purpose, or he determined, said the SO, or ye. And that's the kind of leader I think Ghanaians need. And the younger generation, so, who said, Baomiano Nyobia, only materialistic, at least from what I've seen with him. So, a very important because the yama sikane niema edianimu o maybe aso ebanesana it's important for people to understand that you can live a fulfilled life without being rich. After all, sikane won bebre o de yede egu bank keke ne 00 bebre on yusu. Kwame Busa say, how much money do you need to live a comfortable life? Now they calculate. A 9-hour person car me no and I say, would fancy me and Sakra. And the boss me say, me do be as a cabo be $2 million.
Oh, Debbie, are they? $2 million.
Nipa be pray home, pre-sikasano, a hadri. And that should not animate our politics. And decided to say I'll be an advocate for that. May you can't tell that but Tony Pass. Now
Obi question bi say party no ye nipa bi wo a wonu omo esi so wo politics mu wo so akokwa manyuko no mu a ene yi wo mapom ba bi atena ko obi wo a bi asabe aban ba e we nya kapra nya taku obi wo nso a bibi nti obi di ye anu nti no no so apen ba bi afa na a spell on.
And no cranty, as some our canty, and no cry, some our can spare me on. Because man, co-politics muda say me could be BD. And now say, me a trained civil engineer. In fact, me continue with engineering, I can be a most casting say. Because I am seeing from engineer from engineering. Me press secretary man twice I say back grand count. Some of them chose. BBM was from my engineering practice. Because of politics, I have not been able to push it to the level that I want. I should have. So, because I believe in sacrifice. If we ask say you must be for you look at the countries that the four bears sacrifice. Singapore, the Biamoka League, who call Singapore because or 920.
Debbie, Mitty,
Yano, Nansay me call UK. I check a crack. Kenneth Clark, former deputy prime minister. or tax him, black cab, no cohebo, in Nottingham Forest.
I was a black in the car.
And or team. We have to have a simple life. Make I say Nansay. Then you Methodist and Monday on. And then they may say meet me in a men's fellowship meeting. Yeah, no, me cook Kwabena Methodist.
Oh, Kwabena here.
And I'm sure William and me could be at it. During you ran and person drivers no more my brems, Munkufi, me, I may drive. It was a cabin debates. I feel as I training as secretary to be do it here. Why you move Kakran was one or do it here. Timia and Kodru, Achimota police station. I'm saying I had a major, I had a safe car and I'm packing. Then pana packing. Omi Obaba Combema back. I then oh na honorable Unkwana and I'm saying anyone was say me and I'm a driver me nkwana say it is simplicity. As a Ghana for we have to be sensitive to the Ghanaian people. Ghana for a good people. One penny person. Penny person. Say we a leader grand on your class still we leader ya person.
Singapore can me for taxi from the airport na me back like and na me busa driver say ada na mo ase mo car ba ko na mo nyina mo yusu most of time omo car say manual taxis no and was it we live on a small island in government ni policy ni say the ere beba no enu an obi aba yusu so opeso kraka eba ebe ye die mitimi ebu obetua no be times be 20
so make it unattractive.
Yes, exactly.
So them sure no. And these are measures that we as a Ghanaian people yes, he impose law order. Me they have me crying the way we live now as Ghanaians. So what say if we me can sebi. What say if he say. Oh, because fear. Oh, sorry, I saw be proud. So who is responsible for making sure that abontene ade nyina is
can gata de obi fie anymore obi ba wo ho no hu se gata mo ye fie chese wo ndi hu ni
sanete so card betimi de card betimi akopem railings okay e we de Miami nuanom engineers me ntiase nti we original director na wo kran ha nti hu ni obi oye inspection yesu so na adwuma highways there was an engineer responsible for every length of road in this capital
bra wafa ofanko barrier ho no sa ade na dade na esi ho no ebu na aba kwan nim
for be everything ada obi 3 years na da
about 3 years obi ankan ho asem
how at least you try as regional director of Ghana Highway Authority and as urban roads enti wo de untimi nye ni ye kra go and remove it and abrochire kra na wo de kobom wo ka na de bom so ye be say charge o ubudua ye be say charge
street lights no so omo Germany crowd there womo baba heard the extent of damage to the dua
nanka ni a charge o na ye de dua fufura besi ho and see this is the kind of mentality we need to build for our country and it is only the leaders that can lead by example now face we make sure say it cascades downwards to everybody no be anti say o man na ye tenem no yeswa ne mayor bi okumasi Major Kwabena
Major Kwabena
o makumasi
hotel crowd on the basic status hotel wa culture center chi wo
na that time every 2 years that's all painting odan o main road one
Major Kwabena
you have to paint it na krum ha efe ubunam krum dan bi wa you paint it for 10 years time so it's it's an eyesore and these are the simple things na Ghana no these are the qualities of our life as Ghanaians. Na bibia is obia's opiska. Obia's right now about bosses, they see container. Ubuzan so me bibia di. Hey, the upe bibia di the whole society should be messed up. Me tat 2 car na jo be 11:30. Nam dia fake room. Unse sata obia pon kofi. Na ho na be who rickety wooden structures. Need time. Oh, it's such an eyesore. And nobody seems to want to do anything about it. I pray and hope Baumia becomes the president. And if he gives any listening ear to me, we have to sort out all these things.
Adenta oyarifa kwanso hwe media no fu
brought me fu I mean we can't run ourselves like that. Ukwa brochure say ho fe no. Una Maryland na ya manicure garden sea green ya twaso. Ni nyina so provide adwuma.
Yes, obi adwuma wo ye.
Spanish ni okra pickup ni tools ni pa ba ko bebe nwura wo twa. Yes, I say adwuma ni ho. Meanwhile, we've given the job to one entity and is not able to do it.
Sanitation levy kwa na me hu de dey.
Enti niema ni bi wo ha adwene. We've got to be able to admit that these are the shortcomings of society and as government we have to change. Enti media mentia say niema pi wo ha na bia ya na me ho kire me niema bi because people feel say bia me a bit too
wo ya no ya la kure nye yi
eno de won me nye la nya adwuma we adwuma wo be fine because I've been in government before. President Kofo Shema and Munyama me the press secretary although man support to da And so one kase kwa.
Ah, who was about that?
98 nyame nam di na do campaign ni ma ye kopena tu no wosu. And so osino abrante wo hwe me principles me ya. Wabrane betrame nchen wo kasa so ho ne certain things no o ense ne betrame nchen. E ko be bia na odi mechi na metete kakra na metete kakra. Entete papa. A minye free peninsa. Onu say very laid back person on privi. On privi. Onya na pesi kakra dia. No. So and we need a critical mass of nipa etisa ewa abem. So and no na ebema nkola na ewechi na ba behu say look, there is beauty in serving your country. Beauty in service to the people. Having that collegial mentality to do things for the collective security of our country. The be bibe bua man say nyina no bia ho atono. Me na made bia na me hu me enkola nso mo ye o. Me se dan say na dwu bi na unsan enkola bi anadwo no mo de gina oton ne ma. Me hu meti. No mo ba me so. Na o si ne wasa en to ena me hwe o me se mo yesen o si mo ye na me se me yi 200 se mo nyi na mo nche. Un so mo stop me yi o mo ne ma ne bi so de me ko mo che me ayi.
Ai Ghana force mine.
Ayi na
wa
no mo kura sa tissue paper no.
Tissue paper no.
Me de cham se de bi. Me nyina so o tu na so mo de mo nton kan na me je ba ko. So they mean so well.
Yeah, they mean so well.
Until all these people have to be mobilized in a way. Na the ese adwen ho adwuma. Na mo government mo produce mo party. E be go enwuma by 400. And na mo begina na mo ka adwuma sem. Who sold off all the Ghanaian enterprises? It is the PNDC which gave birth to the NDC. And Buddha Mufu say the refi assembly and Kolano nyina name the history of this country, and then Mukasati said the ammonia boni okrumada. They sold it to themselves. Omna status redevelopment of rage. Na ya chucha na oma twama ho and now akuje to so no nam Kasati said MPP na started. Rollins no bebo nkrofo no. He started that and took a lot of it for his own family. Obi antiminka. Me de meka. They say we're free to am pesa mechanic.
But so ni say oni Agyapade bia o.
Man ka jiro za.
San wo kana na obi
kan to men say na ina da flare side on ho dia.
Ana dia.
Okay, only the Agyapade. Those things were wrong and they continue to be wrong. Until I mean during our time in office there was an attempt to parcel off the baby a foreign ministry or the international hostel. So in foreign ministry say airport on. I never understood that. I never liked it. Into me, abaya say man kojibida because I think say state property should remain in trust. Minim sir, and I spoke against it. I don't like it. Nasani no. It's for all of Ghana.
Because minimum be cantonments you come on 40,000.
It is wrong. Sadiano very wrong. We are within 2 weeks. We would make $1 million or $3 million. Why? Money that could have come to the center as Ghana. So if we say a consolidate, would have high rises at Roman Ridge, Airport, Laboni, Yadi. And then as I say, developers, let's keep government's equity at 10 to 15%. If you devalue women, Kabana says, can I most at 3 billion? Yakoda IMF anymore. Because some people and also civil servants ome cracker minister oba wa chiro so asase bi da ho open ya oji ya no aton 8 no amount 2
open ya na no.
And you see some of these have always been against the parceling out of is Ghana's property should be held in trust for all of Ghana. And you say we are saying redevelopment. Let's say investments about abroche. You know what they do with the council houses. So omo yes akra omo mama say estate now will be developing. So ye be eno ye lower eyi kakra nkofo a omo ye adwuma workers so betimi others on beto and on be rent.
Yeah.
Until they will give you a certain component of it. A lot of high-rise, beautiful area. You can't go there. Why? Nti bia obesi we no ne asaka say okay see this type kakra. All these things, if you have public spirited individuals in charge of the various portfolios, you insist on those things. We make sure somebody is there. So nti there are a lot of empty rooms and so nipanya baby na because it's priced out of the reach of the ordinary Ghanaian. And so kene ka say I don't know ya anton amaye ho na developer no buy na ka say okay I worth 3 million. Because in the event, omo e ton man 40,000. He say omo ko ton man for.
Yes.
Oh no, omo de omo fa difference 2 point something million. So that difference ke be Ghana there. Ye nyina na yeso ye kan ho kwa me no nyina na ye kan. So we could have asked those entities to build something commensurate with our capital and as our equity, government's equity in the project. And so yanya sa. Until we want to parcel out lands for ourselves. Intimate say as okuje to black on the casa me when him di papa is it that would him the history of this country? Why started? Mom dear said we haven't stopped it, which is also wrong, but he has no moral authority to be saying those things. And yes, I was started from
okay,
from their time, the NDC time, the PNDC time, and all of them parceled out state lands to themselves. So,
I see.
We need some right-thinking people in this country, people who love the collective goodwill of our country, Ghana. In 2 years, I'm telling you, say focus.
Right thinking.
I'm telling you, public spirit. Say yeah, they are not more mine. Then we are say, Kwame, they are now here. Me I can't go remu. How many years? You freezing me from 2015. I got 10 years. You buy me so be a woo.
Baby.
You can't pay me so. Say we are modest. Unye dwe, umpre ho, unchire sika ni ade. Kakra. Na say cry the way you me did dokro half. Inti me ni full bottle. And the cry say dokro cry say saka. But still half. Me dia me yama.
I am una okuri.
Me na me krom baby. Oh, unya bayre 2, body 1, 3. You are gone.
Na mami mam fatasi emra ns from Taifa was say e dey na mo be gu akwa party members a wo mo ko independence no won dey ho ne hia no was me kan say pa no wajiwa di say thousands of undecided voters no e be to aba e dey ama MPP ns from Taifa ne dey eno no we so e dey no o say one day obebo me so bo see how you have allowed this man to flow. You don't ask him any effective question. Ask him more important questions and stop supporting him to flow.
And more no musa question ni be.
Can be a question no di buyer na
so, but I think say nipa na can be very important.
Nana Ohineba.
Nti catch na Ohineba say time no koi. Nti question be how of say effective. Independent asem no dey. Dey ha me papa. Because abato Kwame and this is football, a more draw. It's either you win or you lose. And when you are getting into that battle, psychologically, as you prepare, now you have emotional intelligence and stability to deal with the outcome. Obi any ho kwa batuma, ube fancy ube lusu, but ube timi lusu. So, mentiasi da say ye to abewia. Especially we a party ni. Ye kwe di epekebima minkebi. Ye pese people should have the choice should rest with the delegates. Of course, Nema I say kakra with sikasemo abibemu nansenya and also ya say we find a way to deal with. But having said that, no, ekotoaba. Ubi awene, wo awene. Se wo na awene ya kebe ode. Ka obe pese nipa na olusu ye no, ometa wachi ni yenye. But Nyamincha de, in fact, this current primaries here, mebo national executives number so. There was very minimal interference. It's the first because official person we inko the problems about. Enti apart from a few areas and nipa be lose ya omode yawo. Na yawo no so de obi o ha where the minister of state. O primaries. Well, mo be etimi abetwa obi awe minister sebi
maybe to say me Cynthia Morrison who say no.
Yeah.
One crowd here as minister no the fourth. when ni second when ni third you
me na me pese obeko details cry that for pa no
okay
so enti enya ko ba ne saa esa wo ti ase na wo se party na ma akwanya ma wasom party na ma waye nipa asom oman no enti wo so you have to return that compliment na wo de ebufuo minim se emu oya it was a very heated contest and I'm saying na kola na betu no
eso so anya de
na kola o de ne ko ni ministry
wow
bibisa and I'm say obetu no so but any sisi politics there life ina say ko NDC mu a sanke beka senana kunadu ne ko hu Mahama o Japanese embassy
how de ko hu no
yes so say no target grants for December 31st
you know
that's that time na John grants officer or you Japanese embassy
okay
no say branty bi Ghana ni o fine e betimi dina and o be pray deputy minister man so and so maybe I say no the president on the coalitions so between the pasa we are there na the fa coming kroma nya ayimu akwaje num no je bi dan kwam ne kofa
ne bae
o mo na tie party o yes a twa sika frɛ no bae talk ama no se corral ne set up nema and so etimi ba ne sa o ye na adwuma no so nipa pie ni mrante ni hu se we dey ja wo no mu se mpanifo yi ena otwe ne ho na do mu nyina sere enti we have to have that emotional capacity to accept results bia independent will be a media megina ha onhwe me Kwabena Agyapong me I was elected as general secretary minim kwaya ebidi me fa so enso me di manyame na me as a party no hu hia me sin bibia 2020 me still on suspension man pani be frame me say me meboa me lead ni enko campaign say munyina mu hu call round your campaign ewie say one share that anka bi I say man cafe anyway life is like that you have to have the capacity to take this
emre na me ne chama ya mankwa edi nkomo wo se mo ba power no 2001 eno ko president kufo ko busa ne se na wa wunu Kwadwo pie ni wo ye ndai what Kwadwo na Kwadwo me ye ndai ewi ase no a chief of staff
so beginning for complaining here but you see politics no you have the capacity to stomach a lot of things intimesre wo mo a eco independent no so ye MPP ni pa de unum si emra no kire se unya ko independent pe na kire se wa forfeit membership ye de nye ne apam wo wa na wo de to amonti yesusu no ye poasem ye pese mu nyina mu beka ho
obi ti sa wo fa se konso amankwa wo lusu ye wogusu aya dwuma no
sanete so enti mesre wo mo na party for no so sometimes ye no mo hwe mo kasa yi obi ho we ni a de obelusu no na kasa no nye de nuado ne anidie nkabom kasa mo mfre obia ene wo ko certain regions ne constituencies na binum atiate na because obi a regional dey o mpese nipa bi beka ho party ye di nipa na ye ena nyu obi ani ho a ye force no so meka ho ye voluntary ye ni nyina se ye pe ade no ena ye
ze unu aboache ja akun so atiasi mu o
de nyamiasi
hey wonhwe videos no
there be ni
wa brand cars wonam ahafo bro area ho gada nipa chese preaching pa
de nyamiasi I think it's very senior no so on dem no conference
okay
senior conference on the obi am na nantiache de nyamiasi say obia emra on board of course ebinum ye mpanifo kakanti ahoden no ni hokese but obi say Dr. Akoto say he's always backing baby honest obetimi abeka ho na abeka ho
ba fa Kotoba
Dr. Kofi Kunadu Prekusu trebia osan ye or working on some committees bia nkabom beba wa Ashanti region ni nyina oka ho ne ade adai ni mo obi a ye ne de kakra e de aboa ntimi de megidi se so we MPP ni mapa pa na me bae mi nya hwe ne ade party bia ni ho a within 4 years and 10 years millions of supporters umbia betimi anya do hwehwe de hia ne se ebenya party wa aban mu obeshisha aban mu niema in a way a se bi wo ye o captain ni wo ba bia wo so benya wadwuma kakra aye to say the Dana Dr. Baumia can say in Kunya ni we have to have a buy Ghana first policy. Say school kola entire ni ebe pamwa. E mo bi meji contract nkwa ba kon so wakofa free China ba. That be. As ye chichem origins no. Na omo epumade nso nyina nya bie na de adwuma ba. So let's do it in Ghana. Let's keep the money in Ghana. Enti idea done ni so. The independent fund there mesa gina wo fidie so asre wo. Enya idea say wo so ye MPP ni, especially MPP ni a party na san pejaw aye MP akoye minister da say wo ko independent. Minua wo suhum say mesre na me gidi say we di MP party ni dim party na pejaw aba na ekoto ye na anye ya yemfa no saa. So enti mesre no and others, but I want to let people know that this time the independent spectre and also to say 2008 and also cry out to say and me say yes, there are a few places are still problems or yeah can wasem yes almost say my party no, the party is supreme, the party is bigger than any individual. A dubuahin buy or call kufu buy or call a kufuado aka 2 months no or call enti party no de edete ho
ana ena me ka asem bi se enipa bi te se jamfi bi kai no
okay can say cry no ma me re ho because amobedi akonom amti davia ma mame afrifa Rosemary Kwam Koman Petu BJ Darocha GBA ukuna na ukunu
ebra ye di GH men say to mu na BJ Darocha then times one na any lawyer
so enti nkrofo we hwe enti wenum nyina enti na menya opportunity ya na me pese me kai party for no de kunum amesimeku voter regional that time who voter regional so MPP you're almost risking your life.
Yeah.
So young man to say he was the youngest I was saying yenya ni pensan obey regional chairman Kenwood Nuwasu obey youth organizer Rise be regional
voter regional chairman
and for time no man deputy minister enti party no nipa breo nipa brain na those days me 30-year-old ehu abobi
ana na akom sa no
me na me TV so na me party political broadcast me so ye adwuma wo aban adwuma mo Ghana Highways esa anopa na me call officer me mpemfo bi ehu me na obi adwane because na ye mbesi ehu so ya danfo kra no na bia sata soja fo aban na wo so yenya hand over na soja ni oteso so no so gina bi na wako gina TV so wanya kukuduro kasa se me yentoma no yentoma adubua Edward Fachi otumidi genuine support because me share videos nam say the and the we di akire no atene fi 30 years anyway the omo genuine supporters they identify Edward Fachi to be the genuine so that time no peace FM when na commentary they say genuine support enti party no emrante na adi anim sesei no omo hwe omo su ne ban ye omo kasaye and they should be sensitive to the plight of Ghanaians. Enye bibia na eyichire nye bibia na eyichire because nipa bre wo Ghana ha and you have to learn to be modest in what you do. Near Ntina Dr. Baumia has endeared himself because we're modest ubuadie unte se obi kan ho asem bone efi bia ntanatarim ono so se o kan obi asem bone da so enti he's an exceptional person. We feel say President Kufuor was right when he said he's a man of destiny. It appears that any time in our history somebody pops up who is right to lead this country, Ghana. Party for no rally together. Party abayin na sena mekano. All the people-centered policies, national health insurance, capitation grant, school feeding, free bus ride. Ninyina came during MPP time. National health insurance, a friend said free senior high school abeka ho, free TVET abeka ho. So this is a party that thinks about the welfare of the Ghanaian people. Enti media mesre abato na ekoto obi ekokyere na adwen. Yenuanam NDC for they are seeing defeat staring them in the face. Enti oma panic. Oh yes. Enti omo kasa ni nyina say create some chaos for this country. So they are trying to push people to engage in demonstrations. 2 months to elections, so you're busier. Now you're confident that you'll be campaigning. You will not be behind protesters.
But so, yes, one more campaign.
The result will tell.
Now, what's the one touch?
Yes, 53% Baumia, 1 round. I'm very confident of that. Enti media me kakra me catch the party for.
My mefa we so na afi will be the by say and quite our 0.5 no reducing the cost of living. Say be man yememu aba from. E say that boy name pa o.
No correct. No correct. You know, there are certain things that I have had a few this back and forth with the candidate because Mimu, I'm not an economist, he is, but I've never believed in this floating currency exchange principle. So you should leave the currency for the market to determine. Because Ghana market, no, and your proper market. It's an informal market. Abroach say you can't bring prescriptions from the West, America, IMF, say move treaty Ghana issues because in Ghana 80% of the economy is informal.
Sure.
It's completely informal. And first we had a fixed regime. I think a country that produces this amount of gold and every currency is backed by gold all around the world. I don't think we should ever pay more than 5 cedis for $1.
Then the burden yet to me.
I don't know to me. If you decide that this is the rate I'm going to do it with, I'll do it. The economists will speak, say, oh, and say, why never? Because IMF, we are a sovereign country. Now, say now,
I'm going to pay for $1.
Yeah, koji sika the central bank. Now, sika any idea? They come commercial banks or money auction. Auction who determines the cost of it? Sika no na and yeah,
there.
Is have we run out of money to satisfy the demand? There are certain details. Be a hana mekan. Me a dom ne say. Baumia be president. I'm not an economist, but I did project management. I did engineering economy. I know a lot about economics. I don't believe in this floating forex thing. Because America have currency board. They have a currency board.
Okay.
The federal, currency board that looks at the dollar. So, and they take actions to support it when it's growing weak. When somebody intervene, we can't do that.
Singapore,
and it's the one thing parameter working against us. NSRD.
Oh, okay.
So
wow.
But the reason why I make us say is Ghana, no, we are in a country here. Yeah, the dollar a day. We don't. Dollar is not legal tender. I think the Bank of Ghana is.
And Goro boys.
That's right. Illegal. They should not be selling dollars along the street because dollar is not legal tender in this country.
Me call Singapore. Now me do anajono. And na hotel me koda me ye check in. And me dollar $70
Onye.
I said Debbie. Was it on financial credit? And a camera capture say or this can. Nam say my day adiasa. No se obey my man say. Obeti me give me passport not. But there is a place.
That's right.
They no kwa almost say we are yensa back ma obi a.
Debbie. Yes, we are. They can only give it to you in the local currency.
Thank you. Singaporean dollar.
And our law says that. I say so dollar or bank cry. Ukwa as a mount CD
equivalent.
Unless say then your bank should be able to pay with your dollars that you have. And these are some of the things that we can't baby. We've got to fight and bring sanity, restore sanity to the forex environment. Yes, it be the Forex Bureau. They are supposed to be licensed forex bureaus. You have to ask Central Bank. We can't say because governor, my classmate, no. We need the team fans from together. Now me SM because me feel say all the license forest bureaus should be on a platform that is open to the central bank inspectorate division or supervision. And say also will compare dollar. And then I would say, so Ghana, who hear dollar day. So, and you remember in 2022 when I criticized the former finance minister, I said I wanted to know what is the demand envelope like. Ghana to see and a dollar any other. Why don't they hear dollar? What the Ghana has in the dollar? And the nipa say one more cranium man, one more and which are the critical things that we have to satisfy? Because me apart from oil, a driver transportation, and transportation drives inflation and food and everything. And pharmaceuticals here drew. So person kokra you folks and as kokra your friend is saying non-essentials say toys no money there. I'm not, as a government, I'm not interested in satisfying your demand. Demand the how many they essential. And once upon a time we had import license. So you have to tell us what you need the dollars for. And now almost what repatriating there. The government has to control the repatriation. Because MTN discussing the bagana. $50,000. First from Ariba said then
Ariba space phone.
Space phone there. Send the bagana. More about Beji Sika, sa no must say we am supposed to no. If I'm in government, we will look at that. We won't accept that.
Because Goro boys say open 100,000 is you being bro.
Me say we call banks now. Oh, here is guys ibino. Oh, I know my son for say my few minutes I bet me and you be the bro. So the money that we as central bank are giving to the banks, they've sent it back. There's a cartel to these who they offer from Goro boys. One more yes sir. Kaole nominated. Omukra says can. National security is looking on unconcerned. This is an illegality that is being perpetrated in this country. And we've got to find a way, and at least that will bring sanity into the forex space. How? So within a year now, didn't move from 7 to 16.
And 16.
Why?
16 for
Why? What is the cause of that? Because Nkrophobia determined that. So the government should intervene and say, look, we are here for essential, Briar Sikana Kamedebeko auction, me fan auction. I'll give it to you at 1 to 5. Name so the cockra fuel because we export price no. We are fixing 1 to 17 to no. In Kawayan 1 to 5 say now no. You work the calculations. After all, we used to have prices and incomes board. Why is it that fuel no ne adena the pure as it and others you per se determine? Name currency de inya no sa. And wouldn't say as of we be omo J collection no the Monday no marcos
into dollars.
I'm telling you. For Nigeria say because I high lose into umba basis $1. And so we need to strengthen the institutional arrangement governing this whole forex environment. Intermediate I feel say we should go back to either a currency board or government should fix it. Unless government is saying we don't have enough dollars to supply the essential services, that is fuel and pharmaceuticals. Others in the baby dollars.
And you're almost okay.
And I'm very. That is my response. I will give to the question.
The question, no. And you're running up. He saying a walker at the actual year. 1 year 8 year Ghana for one kotwaba and net busumi no pepe.
First and foremost, say as Ghanaians we have to recalibrate our thinking. And the way you hunema Ghana for ye pay pulling people down and destroying each other. We bring friend a slash and burn politics. We should love one another. We have a beautiful country. We have a country that is blessed. There's peace in this country. There's religious harmony. And especially Dr. Baumia is someone from his background who has worked to bring Muslims and Christians together, for them to realize that they are Ghanaians first. Enti, woman can come and tell him about to oba and tokobia nsi. Emre so a okosan line. Na watu aba. Peso kofi aba ko peso kofi na pe be agina. Na ya kan. Ye keka bomu a de Ghana for apagya no on the be president. And we have been in opposition from 1982, in fact from 1972. And the about power 2001. And yes, I call opposition. And yes, about power. What I want to tell the average Ghanaian and the politicians is that power is not everything. It's not everything. One more young said that any brainy ideas about power and you should have a deep sense of moral authority to change our country, Ghana. And only here, see a baby to give something back to society. And that will be a me whether you are an ordinary person, you are a minister of state, or whatever. You need the to relieve the suffering and the pain of the ordinary Ghanaian. Ni say because ye betwa bantino. Yengu we hufi. And yet, and now you can see with the social media, and I'm fine. I called a friend and saying, general manager, Father, this so when the phone was my friend because there was this is a music producer, say friends a bulldog or something. But Jina UTV, the deep president at him, and call about more dear cry. And see if you disagree with something, do you have to use those unprintable words? People who are not well brought up can sit on television and say what they want. National Communication Authority, what are they doing? National Media Commission. Just because somebody is behind the mic, ubi na no asemo emfata no o catch Ghana for. Dia him for atem, di mampeni atem, di ubi atem. How can that be? Calling people names without any evidence. How can that be? That should stop. It's not Ghanaian. And yes, Ghana for you can disagree with the president. I have disagreed with him on many things. There's a number of ministers and the lack of action in certain areas. That is fair. So, but to sit on and disrespect Obia Sebi or Obikro or Yonana, it's completely un-Ghanaian. A buni e maimukra. Now say there might be who tells you that once you are in front of the microphone, you are God or you are all knowing to the OPBS? There should be civility and etiquette. Or maybe what kind of country are you trying to build? And the NCSA, I have issue with them giving so many licenses. Ghana, a small country of 35 million. We have about 300 television stations. And which don't fit what a television station should be. It be based on religion. It be based on witchcraft. I mean, you can't do that. Wrong. Some of the programs are omuyi or national television. So it's poisoning the minds of the young people. And I think that the National Media Commission, the National Communication Authority, and the Association of Private Broadcasters should put their heads together and cleanse the system. Drain that swamp. Because there is a lot of poison being poured out. As if says a BBC or many more. We need to have a peaceful country, protect our peace. Yes, because on the altar of political expediency, you create chaos. And those who want to benefit from the chaos and ride on the economic difficulties at Ghana face. In the demonstration, and you say Ghanaians are not angry enough. When I hear that kind of talk, Omaya, Nipo Bakubechi, ye share them, say na 5 o'clock, ye na 6 o'clock, ye na 7 o'clock, Kunkum Nipa. Ya fed through those a year. Na say ye democratic dispensation. Successfully transitioning government. Na emrena so na ekoto aba. Obi ankoto na ba. Ya tena opposition da. Ya tena abamu da. Ube enu ntu wo abamu fu so be nya ataba etu akosoro. Ye no nyina tia asase so ase. And to those who are so aggrieved and aggressive for power, if they really mean to come and serve the Ghanaian people and do the hard work, don't be this aggressive, because that hard work is difficult. It's those who have the mindset, that chopping mentality. No contribution, no chop. Until me chop. I'm trying to tell Ghanaians they should have faith in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He has strong personal integrity. He will be a pointy finger and canon. He's never been investigated by his own government. Never. And I believe say Tima or Nkaye or Do for both Christians and Muslims. And he's helped a lot of people. And it's that kind of leader we need to drive this country in a new direction, especially as we know that the whole world is moving along a global village, technologically advanced with the fourth industrial revolution. We need somebody who understands these things and who has shown a record of delivery. Look at the amount of initiatives were pursued as vice president. Over 30 initiatives were pursued, which impacts on the lives of we Ghanaian, the Ghanaian people. Intermediate, Masami Kakrebi, Brentua, Firestorm number 1. For Kukrumotisi Oma, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and then the parliamentary candidate. And no, Ubia and Shrenadrin, the OPE. I'm fine with it. I don't think politics is about life or death. The sanctity of this country and the welfare of the Ghanaian people, for me, is priority. And politics and political parties are mere vehicles to get this transformation. I happen to belong to the MPP vehicle, and I believe the MPP is good for Ghana. The MPP is the party that has delivered the most socially impactful interventions abuanipa ewo Ghana has say. Enti asem kakra bi na asofo no nyai na ntokwa ebesi na people have made an economy, an enterprise of any match and we don't need that. They should stop this fear mongering in this country. They should do their work, which is spiritual enrichment of the lives of Ghanaians. Software to and I win a president and I win a say win souls for Christ. But that is your work.
Without them, no.
Nyame
Yetiminya mampania.
Kwame Nkrumah to make us the same way. That is blasphemy. Don't ever say it. I'm a Methodist. Nyankopon on pese onu obiya share the authority. Nobody should even contemplate. Say nyame one na wo tumi so obi be uye Nyankopon. No nim de basic na. Do you know what will happen even 24 hours from now? We don't know. Ninyina di se nyamensa enti yenya isa kasa no a emfata omo say nkrofo aware say nkrofo families. I mean, every clip you see on social media, you see men of God, supposed men of God, talking about politics. Oh, they never speak about the Holy Bible, convincing people, talking to people, changing their lives and mentality. So omo nwi nkrofo omo no do omo nuanom. And that is what we need from we the Ghanaians. Media masem kakrebi. I know it will be a very, very peaceful election.
Wow.
And Dr. Bawumia will win it comfortably. And the MPP will have a good majority in parliament to be able to usher us into the new dawn, a new era, a new dimension, a new chapter, and a new direction for Ghana. We need the support of all well-meaning Ghanaians. It's about Ghana. It's not about ourselves. And I can use myself as an example. See, I can't say them cry for 10 years and Yankopon burial. Then come on, so dream papa. And Tisa, I dream say a Kwabena Agyapong is a waste of everybody's time. And we need to tell that to the current generation, tell that to the upcoming generations. Because I'm getting worried when you talk to the young people, both NPP and NDC. They've seen a few bad examples, and Omfu said that is the only route to life. No, route to life is hard work. Develop a career for yourself. Find something to do, kakra, and then when the opportunity comes near you go there with a clean heart. I went there with clear motives, clean heart to serve my country, and I've never regretted it. The opportunity that His Excellency President Kufuor gave me to serve him as his press secretary. Oh, I'm proud of that. Gave me an insight into how a presidency should be run. Enti me de kakra meka no ye nyai bibia se bibia eyedidie. It is bad on us. The materialism must stop in this country. Now, if we the leaders don't talk about it, who will speak about it for us? Enti kakra Kwame me de manu besi ha.
Yes,
mada otifo sre nyankopon hyira ma obia o Ghana. Se enema mu adin nenso so ye na kakra things can be better. I know this country can be turned around in a matter of 2 years with firm, people-centered leadership that understands people, that loves people, that cares for people. Who say obaji na kwan ho na osrade na ne ba hye na chi na wie bo na hwe sa hwede ne kura enru 50 cedis a na say anhye wakoma, you have no business going near politics.
Okay,
that's all I have to say.
Yes, that's a pa